Welcome to today's lesson on common English idioms. Understanding these phrases is a key step toward sounding more natural in your daily conversations. I'm your instructor, Wemi, and I'm excited to guide you through this journey. Have you ever heard someone say something was a piece of cake when there was no dessert in sight? Or perhaps they were burning the midnight oil. Idioms are phrases that have a different meaning than the literal words used. Today, we'll decode the most common ones you'll encounter. Hello, everyone. I'm Wemi, and I'll be your instructor for this lesson. Idioms can be one of the most challenging parts of learning English because you can't always guess the meaning from the words alone. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to use idioms to talk about work, feelings, time, and money with the confidence of a native speaker. We'll cover 6 main categories today. We'll start with idioms for work and productivity, then move to feelings, challenges, communication, and finally, time and money. Each section will give you the tools to handle daily social and professional situations effectively. First, let's talk about work. In a professional setting, we often use idioms to describe how hard we're working, how we're saving resources, or when we need to restart a project. These next 4 idioms are staples in any office environment. Burn the midnight oil means working late into the night. Think of it as staying up until the stars come out to finish a project. If you're doing something poorly or cheaply to save time, you're cutting corners. When a plan fails and you have to start over, you go back to the drawing board. And finally, when you've finished for the day, you call it a day. Remember, cutting corners is usually seen as a negative thing in business because it implies the quality was sacrificed. On the other hand, calling it a day is a very common and friendly way to tell your team that the workday is over. Now let's move on to how we express our feelings. Expressing feelings and reactions is where English gets really creative. Whether you're feeling a bit sick or absolutely thrilled, these idioms add color to your speech. Let's look at 4 idioms for our emotions. If you're feeling slightly sick, you're under the weather. When you're blissfully happy, you're on cloud 9. If you accidentally reveal a secret, you spilled the beans. And when you hear a rumor you don't quite believe, you take it with a grain of salt, meaning you're a bit skeptical. You'll often hear people say they're under the weather when they have a common cold. And spilling the beans is something we all do sometimes by accident. Next, we'll talk about idioms for facing challenges and making big decisions. Life is full of difficult decisions and moments where we need to be brave. Here are 4 idioms that help us describe how we face obstacles and wish others well in their endeavors. Bite the bullet means facing a difficult situation with courage and just getting it over with. If you're undecided about a choice, you're on the fence. We say, break a leg, to wish a performer good luck. And a blessing in disguise is something that seemed bad at first, but resulted in a good outcome later. Interestingly, break a leg is only for performers. For anyone else, a simple, good luck is better, and being on the fence is perfectly normal when you're making a big life choice. Now, let's talk about idioms for communication and social situations. Communication isn't just about the words we say, but how we agree and handle difficult topics. These 3 idioms are essential for navigating social and professional conversations with ease. When you agree fully with someone, you see eye to eye. Getting information directly from the source is hearing it straight from the horse's mouth. And a major problem that everyone knows about but avoids discussing. That's the elephant in the room. Time is one of our most frequent topics. Whether we're running late, having fun, or racing against a deadline, English has specific idioms to describe the clock. Let's look at 5 common time-related phrases. Better late than never means it's better to arrive eventually than not at all. Time flies when you're having fun. Doing something suddenly without planning is on the spur of the moment. If you finish at the very last second, it's in the nick of time. And finishing before a strict deadline is beating the clock. Finally, let's talk about money. From something being incredibly expensive to managing a tight budget, these idioms are staples in any conversation about finances and value. If something is very expensive, it costs an arm and a leg. You don't want to break the bank by spending all your money. A polite way to ask what someone is thinking is a penny for your thoughts. Managing on a very small budget is being on a shoestring. And putting your money where your mouth is means backing up your words with action. We've covered 25 idioms across 6 categories today. Using these will help you sound more natural and express yourself more vividly. I encourage you to pick one idiom from each category and try to use it in a sentence today. Thank you for participating in today's lesson. Practicing these phrases is the best way to make them a natural part of your vocabulary. Next time, we'll explore idioms specifically for business negotiations. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next lesson. See you in the next lesson. Keep practicing your new idioms.